Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got a brand new deck guide for you guys today. Today, we're going to be going over Jeet's Zombie Phoenix Force list. Of course, it's a Fire Hair Phoenix Force list, and this deck is a lot of fun. It's got a variety of different combos you can really mess around with. And in the metas, that's still pretty wide open, that I'm still seeing a lot of airship, and this feels really solid into it. This, of course, is how the deck performed. It was honestly a lot. It's a combo deck, so like the cube rate, win rate, you got to be snapping into a lot of your big power plays, or your opponent's just going to retreat after the big power comes down anyways. And you got to be actually really diligent with your retreating, too. If you don't have the combo, get out of there for 1. You don't need to stay in there for 2. But anywho, that is going to be the deck. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So here's what we are going to be working with. The Hunger, of course, is now something you can buy from the shop as a Series 4 card, not just locked to an event, which is really nice. Of course, you do have Kid Omega, you have Venom, and Misery as 3 of your main destroy cards in this list, because you want to be able to maintain the power you destroy with a Kid Omega or the Venom, or just to proc the on reveals again for your Fire Hair with the Misery. Of course, you have Phoenix Force to be able to bring back cards that are in your graveyard that have been destroyed, and you have Elixir to be able to bring back a card that was destroyed on the previous turn, being a targeted revive, enabling you to be able to get some better Phoenix Force value potentially as well. Next, of course, you do have Cassandra Nova, a good card that can soak up a bunch of power in order to be able to, mitigate what your opponent's able to play, taking away their power because it's a steal, something that if you proc multiple times can continually grow, a good also enabler for Fire Hair, especially into a lot of these airship matchups I've been seeing as well. You, of course, have Zombie Mr. Fantastic, you have Zombie Scarlet Witch, Zombie Giant Man, and the Hunger as your main zombie enablers. Zombie Mr. Fantastic, of course, has an on reveal before his activate, giving the Horde +2 power. So if you do Misery Zombie Mr. Fantastic, you give the Horde another +2, but I would activate your Zombie Mr. Fantastic before you then proc the on reveal again with a Misery, or destroy him with a Venom kind of thing, just so you can actually get that extra power onto your created cards, because created cards do get +1, up to 4 of them if you have 4 of them on the board. It does not add this 4 power to just one created card, so if you only have 1 on the board, it only is going to hit 1 card with that extra power. And that's kind of going to be the gist of the overall breakdown. Your lines are going to be like, turn 1, Kitty Pryde. I'm normally saving the Hunger for maybe a Zombie Scarlet Witch or something to do a bit later into the game with a Zombie Giant Man. I don't necessarily want my opponent to know that I am playing a Hunger deck off rip, because there is still an abundance of Shadow King, so just kind of keep that in mind as you are progressing with this list. But you have Destroy cards, you have Zombie cards, and you got revive cards, and you got cards that do things twice if a card gets destroyed. So you have like a bunch of just different ways to add power to the board. Being able to destroy a Zombie Giant Man and then get it to proc again because you destroyed it with a Fire Hair is something that is really cool, to be able to spread power across the board and then revive that Zombie Giant Man again later in the game. It's just really solid. I really like that as like some of the options in this list. But let's go ahead and break down why we have each card in this list individually. So we are playing a zombie deck. So we have the Hunger in here, of course, to be able to give that Horde +3 power, of course, being a skill, so it does not take up board space. Something you play onto your Zombie Scarlet Witch, or you can even play potentially later in the game before you play down a Zombie Giant Man, is also something that is really nice. Next, of course, we do have Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is in this list to be able to get some extra power onto the board, but you're mainly playing this into your Zombie Scarlet Witch lane, or it's something you could play potentially later into the game just with a Zombie Giant Man, just so you have just more power on the board. It's not really something you have to have in this list. Maybe you could use another skill, but it doesn't really gain too much power unless you're continually playing this on curve. So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to Kitty Pryde. Just another point of power you can add to the board, or points of power you can add. Of course, you'll see in this video, of course, I had Shuri's Lab, and Kitty Pryde on Shuri's Lab is just absolutely amazing, and that's just a snap condition, so I won the game because of that. But this is more of just an enabler for your Zombie Scarlet Witch. Next, of course, we do have Kid Omega. Kid Omega is in here for one of your destroy cards, to destroy your Cassandra Nova, to destroy potentially even a Venom, to be able to clear a lane and be able to get some Fire Hair value, but mainly for your Cassandra Nova or for your Zombie Giant Man. If you don't have a Kid Omega, I think you could potentially run... You could run a Carnage or like a Deathlock maybe, but you want to be able to keep the power onto the cards you just from the cards you destroy, so that's why you have Kid Omega. And this list is one of those key components there. Next, of course, you have Zombie Mr. Fantastic with an on reveal and activate. On reveal giving the Horde +2, and then activate giving created cards +1. It gives you a lot of really nice options to be able to scale your Horde, as well as if you have locations that have created cards, you have this for value. And it's an on reveal, so if you do, Misery, your Zombie Mr. Fantastic, it'll add another +2 to the Horde. Next, of course, we have Elixir. This is a targeted revive. It revives a card from the last turn that was destroyed. You can play this with a Phoenix Force to kind of really give you better options of what you're going to be reviving instead of really going into, well, I'm going to go ahead and play Phoenix Force right now, and then I get a 1 out of 3 because I destroyed something on turn 2, even though I destroyed maybe a more important card on turn 4, and you're playing this on turn 5. I mean, you're playing this on turn 6 to have energy, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, you're playing this to give you a targeted revive, so then your Phoenix Force has a better likelihood to potentially hit some of these other cards you destroyed earlier on, so you can really get that extra value of there. Next, of course, we have Fire Hair. You are destroying cards, and of course, Fire Hair is gaining that on reveal each time you destroy cards. So you have Fire Hair in this list to make sure you can continue to keep that power on the board, or just get those on reveals to go off again. So then, when you do have something like a lot of power in one lane, you then can just, eat that with Venom. Their on reveals proc again, so you can kind of, in a way, add that power to another lane, especially when it comes to like a Zombie Giant Man, because Zombie Giant Man adding more power to the Horde, and then you eating Zombie Giant Man or destroying Zombie Giant Man allows your Fire Hair to proc the Zombie Giant Man ability. Zombie Giant Man added another 2 power to that Horde, getting that also power that was already on the Horde onto Fire Hair now, so you're kind of able to spread power in such a way that is really cool with this list. Or with the Cassandra Nova, if you can just continually drain like an Airshim deck, it just feels absolutely amazing into that, because, screw Airshim, but you have Fire Hair kind of for that. You, of course, have Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova is something that can continually gain power. And, people are playing Thanos. People are playing Airshim. People are playing Agamotto. People are playing Kang. So you have Cassandra Nova to be able to get value there, or just in general, Cassandra Nova hitting some of these Cerebro decks, which not all these Cerebro decks are running Luke Cage. They should be. Or they don't always draw Luke Cage. So you have that to kind of be able to mitigate that there, offset your opponent's powers, because, one power can be enough to win lanes sometimes. So if you're able to steal power from a bunch of different of your opponent's cards, it gives you just a lot of oomph and, access to be able to do a lot of things. Something that's really good to proc into Misery, because then it absorbs again, and then you can Fire Hair, or not Fire Hair, you can Fire Hair, procs that again, but then you could also Elixir, bringing it back, makes his on reveal go off again, so then Cassandra Nova goes off 3 times. I think that's probably pretty good. Another good Phoenix Force target. So, of course, we have Cassandra Nova in here. Venom eats everything in a lane and maintains its power, so you're not just destroying the cards and losing the power you had on the board there originally. Something that is just really solid in this list, especially, is because you want to be able to have power in a bunch of different lanes. Of course, you do have Misery in order to enable you to just have those on reveals proccing and destroys in your destroy pile to be able to get Elixir and Phoenix Force things. But you are losing power on those lanes, where Venom allows you to keep that power and then also get those on reveals to go off on your Fire Hair. Of course, you have Zombie Scarlet Witch with the Hunger, with Zombie Mr. Fantastic, with Zombie Giant Man. You have those as options to be able to play on your Scarlet Witch, or even some of these cards that aren't, destroy cards, playing those onto the Zombie Witch lane. You're probably not playing Venom onto your Zombie Witch lane, but you can play your Zombie Giant Man on there and then destroy him. So then Zombie Giant Man goes off, procs the Horde there, gets the power that goes to another card, and then Zombie Scarlet Witch procs again +2. So next time you bring back your Zombie Giant Man, and it's added another 4 from what originally just happened, and then when you bring Zombie Giant Man back, he has his power you just had, and then goes off again. So having just really solid options there. You can also potentially tempo out in Elixir if you've destroyed things for later, because then if you've destroyed things in the previous turn and then you Misery your Elixir will go off, and then potentially maybe if you destroy more things, your Fire Hair could go off. So just you can play cards onto here and just kind of set things up. This is not an on reveal, so you could also play Misery onto here and not worry about destroying your Zombie Scarlet Witch, which is nice. Next, of course, you have Phoenix Force. You're destroying cards. You wanted to revive them, because if you do lose that power on the board, you want them to come back, be able to proc that on reveal again, and get the 5 power from Phoenix Force. So this is just, one of those. It's a Jeeet classic, of course, which Jeet's info will be down in the description below. If you guys are not following Jeeet, you guys need to be following Jeeet. Jeet, Jeet. Yes, follow him. Absolutely fantastic individual. So just kind of keep that in mind. You have Phoenix Force in here to be able to kind of revive some of those cards, and you have Elixir to target revive, and then you have this to kind of mitigate what's left in your destroy pile to be able to get revived with Phoenix Force. Of course, Misery proccing your on reveals, allowing your on reveals to go off over and over and over again. Feels, of course, really good with Fire Hair, and it's just a good body as well. Even though it got nerfed from a 4.9 to a 4.8, 4.8 still really good for what it allows you to do. Setting up for combos, setting up for things later on in the game, like setting up on reveals earlier on and then being able to Misery them later. Like, There's a lot of cool stuff there. And then, of course, we have Zombie Giant Man. Zombie Giant Man, you're playing a zombie deck, so if you can get the zombie horde pretty big, you get Zombie Giant Man value. Or if you don't even get it really big, and then you're able to just destroy Zombie Giant Man, add that power to, like, a Venom, or add that power to just, like, a Kid Omega. Like, you just have options to be able to spread power across the board still in a really solid way, so you're not really having to rely on this card being just absolutely massive, even though you love for this card to get absolutely huge. There's also, like, situation like Kid Omega just being able to destroy this, you being able to bring it back with Elixir, or, like, something like a Phoenix Force. Like, there's just a lot of ways to be able to mitigate this and just add power across the board, so you're not just completely in one lane. You maybe played in one lane, it got destroyed, and boom, you revive it in a different lane. Like, it just feels really solid into this list. But that's going to be the gist of this deck. We're going to jump right into some live gameplay, some live commentary for you guys, and I will see you at the end of the video. Okay, into our first game over here. We do get a nice, interesting start. Let's see. The Hood. We do start with Kitty. I guess we probably could have just played Kitty far right, just in case. I normally like to play Kitty on the far right lane. I don't know why I decided to play it. Well, we do have Shuri's Lab, though. Shuri's Lab can make this pretty interesting. I'm going to go ahead and snap into Kitty being able to double multiple times. Kind of my thought process there. Seems pretty good. They go Demon. All right. I'll go Fanta into Kitty. This is literally just huge Kitty things. And probably turn 5, I will go Bar Sinister with Kitty Prides. Because I will just be able to have a bunch of huge kitties to run around with. They Frigga the Demon. Okay, they are going to have Shadow King in this list. That is one thing just to note here. Is that Shadow King will be coming down. So I'm just going to pretty much play around that. Is like my thought process there. So I'll do this. And then I'll probably end up going Kitty left into Zombie Fanta. They Nico. They get another Demon. I go Zombie Witch into Kitty. And then I will go Hunger into Kitty, and then Cast, and then I will be able to get all these kitties back into my hand. So that's kind of like my thought process there. There's the Misery. I should also duck Prio here, which is really nice. Then we get the Fanta goes off. All right, sweet. We hit all the kitties. I get all the kitties back. And we duck Prio. So, yep. Yup, exactly. All right, it's our next game. We do get Erisham. We have Cassandra Nova into Erisham, which means if I do get Fire Hair, this will be a snap because I do have Misery into Phoenix Force. So a turn 2 Fire Hair would be a snap into this matchup. We also, even a Kid Omega. Kid Omega could also be a snap here. We get Fanta. Okay, we can go Fanta here. Fanta gives me the Horde there. I'm going to go... I think I'm going to snap into Cassandra Nova going right. Into the Misery is kind of my thought process there. Big Cass. They go Merlin. I go Misery. And then we're going to get some fun stuff here, all right? We have Kitty Pryde. We had the Phoenix Force. I Misery. Big Cass. Huge Cass, by the way. Into Shang-Chi missing, which is awesome for us. Awesome Andy comes down. I will go Kitty into Phoenix Force left. And then I can do Hunger, Zombie Giant Man things. Big Cassandra Nova. All right. They go Doom. They assume I probably moved there. I now go here. Move that there. Move that there. Hunger. And then that should be a lot of power. Yeah. Okay, we do have Fire Hair. We got Venom. We got Elixir. We got some cool stuff actually to work with here. Let's see if we can get some of the Horde synergy going. We are facing a Wiccan gamer. I think we will play... No, we're going to play Fire Hair middle. Fire Hair middle just because Red Guardian exists, and this kind of makes it so we don't get hit by Red Guardian, which is nice there for us. We do have Kiln. I will go Cass. Probably Cass into Misery into... Wow, okay. This is interesting. Very interesting deck we got here. Yeah, we'll go Cass, Misery into probably Phoenix Force, actually. Or actually, hold on. Oh, if I don't do Misery, actually, Venom probably was the better play there. So that actually is kind of a misplay, I would say. Potentially here. Abomination comes down. We do get that. I go... If I do Elixir Venom, that does kind of negate my Phoenix Force a little bit, so I'm not going to do that. But I do think it is just going to be Phoenix Force. They Diamondback. It's a little rough. It's going to hit the Phoenix Force here, of course. This does get hit there, but I do eat again. They get zapped. I then go Kitty, Fanta, Venom. Could do that, or I could move this here. I mean, if they play Hulk, I think Hulk probably comes middle. So I could do this, that, or it is I move this over to this, that. Is Venom going, or is Hulk did not go middle? Okay. So no Hulk middle. That goes middle. Is this about to be a Shang-Chi right? Or an Ajax? What is Lopez about to hit me with? Could also be Shadow King. Domino, Luke Cage. Oh, that works. All right. We have Kitty into Fanta, into Cass. Quicksilver. Got the big house coming down. If I go Fanta. And then Thunderbolts. If I go Cass, it'd be Cat. I can't Misery Cass. I think we just go Witch here. Terrax. Okay, so it's the Darkhawk version. Heard. Into Fisks. There's the Wiccan. If I do this, I still have Zombie Giant Man to mess around with is my thought process. And I have a lot of power left. So I don't hate this necessarily. We'll play it out. Yeah, Darkhawk. If this deck runs Shadow King, we're in a bit of a pickle. They do have to play right here. If I get hit with Shadow King, I get hit with Shadow King. Shadow King, speed. And that wins. 50 beats. 40. Sweet. Okay, we do face Thanos. Can we get a Cassandra Nova into the... Actually, no, I think this is Agamotto. Sorry. Cassandra Nova into Agamotto would be nice. Oh, no, it's Thanos, man. I can't... The deck size always really throws me off here. Eternity range... Go over here. Strange. King Eitri, Hellcow. Wow, they actually got a decent roll there. Power Stone. I guess it doesn't really matter. They, of course, get the Hellcow. I will go Fire Hair into Kitty. They have Wiccan, but no Wiccan Curve is nice for us. I think this is like our best bet. I'm just going to throw a bunch of cards down here now. There's Thanos. They do eat the rock. And we do get Zombie Giant Man. I think this is winnable. A Sasquatch and Mind Stone. Oh yeah, this should just be really solid things here. Boom. Yeah. That'll work. All right, we do have Kitty. We got Cass. We got Zombie, Mr. Fantastic. We have some pretty cool options here. Quicksilver. We got some good old Wiccan gaming over here. With the Nova Roma. We draw the Hunger. And we draw the Witch. I'm going to go... I think we are going to go Zombie Fanta here. Iron Patriot. So this is probably the Victoria hand deck, which does mean that Shadow King will be present. Shadow King is present in this version. And I don't know if we have enough power to compete left here. Rocket and Groot. Oh. That's different. Maybe it's a different version. Maybe. Fantasticar, and we get Hellcow. Okay, that's honestly not worse for us. I'm gonna go Firehair, Kid Omega. Actually, go Kid Omega, Firehair. They go Merlin and Surge. Okay, no Wicking Curve just yet. Okay, so if I do that into this, I then have the Hunger and Kitty and stuff to work with. This could be pretty fun. So this hits the Horde and it hits Hellcow. They go Wiccan. On curve, Wiccan. Okay. Into Bastion. And Polymorph. And then I go Kitty, Hunger, Phoenix Force. Star-Lord. Whoa. I do have Cass. Cass is a little worse here. A little worse. If I go... Let's go Cass left. Throw it down. Luna. Okay. We get the Cass to survive. I go Kid Omega Venom. And Venom gets destroyed. That's fine. They magic right. Into Herbie. Herbie lives. I go... Elixir into Zombie, Witch, and Kitty. They go Danger, Maximus. I do this. Into big zombie giant man. Oh, let's do, hold on. I do this. Into that. I'll snap back. This is funky. But I really like what we're working with here. We hit this. This goes off. Yeah. This looks really good. Really, really good. Of course, they have to add power here. They can add power everywhere else. They have danger. I just really like all of our options here. All of our options are just really awesome. Cerebro. Moonstone. Okay. There's the Herbie Rock. So if I go... What got destroyed last turn? So I could go Misery... Phoenix Force. And it should give me... This will go off again. I'll get one here. Yeah, this should be really good. The worst thing I could get is... Venom. Well, this is Venom. Venom is going to be Phoenix Force on the right here. So I get... I mean, I guess, hold on. There's a world where I just do Phoenix Force... This gives me either Zombie Giant Man or Mr. Fanta. I could also do this. That. There's the Venom, which is actually what we wanted, was the Venom for the 1 out of 3. Into a Zombie Giant Man! As long as Venom lives! Does Venom live? Venom lives! And Venom lives, so we get the casserole! Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around to the very end, let me know down below. How do you guys feel about the new season currently? It's been kind of a bit of a slog, I'd say, this past couple days. I don't know. I haven't been super enticed to play a lot of it, but I still enjoy Snap in general. Just I've been playing other things. I've been playing some Call of Duty and stuff off stream, just playing with some of the boys. But it is good to be back. Good to be making content. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys do enjoy the video, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. It's been real. God bless, and Tucker out.